What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday evening. It is Super Bowl Eve, and we're coming to you live because we didn't want to miss a single minute of the Super Bowl. This is This Week in Wrestling, THS Wrestling. Matthew, thank you for joining us. I know it's an hour early and a different day, so we appreciate it. Hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. This is THS Wrestling. My name is John, and I am joined by Neeson and the Wrestling Classic himself, Justin. Hello, guys. What's going on?
Yes, we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Kind of feels like we're existing in 3 timelines at the same time. So it just reminds me of a little of a Tenet, if you will.
Oh. Justin, how's it
going? That's an introduction. I thought we were going somewhere. My hat looks a little crooked, but thanks for having me on. I've been a spectator, obviously, a bunch of weeks, and I can tell you that all 3 places do pop off, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. You got comments everywhere, and I'm glad to be here. I was a little confused, too, that I was a day early, but I forgot, as a Canadian, that it's a Super Bowl tomorrow, and that's a big, big deal down there, which is a big deal here, too, but I mean, like, it's a bigger deal down there, so here we are. Let's do the thing.
Ooh, yeah. Ken, Nick, what's going on? Neeson, before we get started, where are you, my friend?
I just got done recording a show, and so
if you can't tell us, it's fine.
Other little studio here. No, it's just a little studio. It's pretty cool, but if you see, it's a little gold record studio.
Dude.
Is that hinting at something? These gold records.
I may pull out some other little pops and stuff. It's a bunch of like exclusive pops over here.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, man, it's some stuff coming up. Also, just to get this out the way, if guys haven't watched WandaVision, watch WandaVision, because me and my boy are interviewing the only black actor guy that's on there. I forget his name.
The neighbor.
Yeah, the neighbor. But we're interviewing him on Friday, and we're starting an after show for it. So.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Deathwishcoffee.com. They sponsor us, so let's help them out. If you go to check out at deathwishcoffee.com, use the promo code #show, 10% off your order.
And cheers to coffee. Great. Coffee's the best.
There it is. Look at that. Boom. Right there.
Look at that. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of things without coffee.
Yeah. I wouldn't have made it through today.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have made it through Wednesday without coffee.
Yes, I would have. I was hyped. What are you talking about?
What got you so hyped on Wednesday? What got you so
Well, I mean, we're gonna get to it. We're starting off with AEW Dynamite. We are gonna talk about that main event, but I do want to say we did have, in my opinion, a banger of a women's match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. This match was fantastic. By the way, all pictures you see here are brought to us by All Elite Wrestling. So
they still love us?
They still do.
They just put me on the media list like this week.
Oh, did they? They finally. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was worth the wait. I thought they both did a really great job, and I thought the finish kept Thunder Rosa strong, and it got Britt a win, but by nefarious means with Rebel there. Classic. What'd you think of this match, man? I know we're pretty hard on the women's division, rightfully so. But man, they brought it.
They definitely brought it. And I think, to your point, like the fact that they've built it up over, it felt like months now. There was that anticipation. So when it actually happened, it lived up to the anticipation. And to your point again, like they let Britt win, but as a heel, they let her win in a heelish way with interference and all that. So it does protect Thunder Rosa and it makes Britt get a win. That also means the window's still open for them to face off again. I do have a question for you guys about this though. Like, obviously the pandemic's still like a thing, but when NWA starts up again and starts doing their own thing, are we going to see Thunder Rosa guys leave? Like, because there was a part of me thinking, like, oh, I think Britt's going to win this because at the end of the day, like, Britt is the AEW person. I don't know if they're going to put, like, Thunder Rosa over Britt if they don't have, like, a long-term plan with Thunder Rosa and AEW. But that was just me looking deeper into it. I don't know.
Neeson?
Ken, I thought this whole time, your last name was Money. I don't know why I thought it was Money. Maybe I thought Ken Money was like a dope alias or something. But shout out to you, man. I thought your last name was Money this whole time. Anyways, look, what did I see when we seen this match? Thunder Rosa is money. And I think they know that. And most importantly, I think she knows that. And if AEW is stupid if they don't lock her down right now for a long-term deal, because she could be their centerpiece to their women's division because she is money. Now, I'm going to say this and I'm going to keep saying it till it happens. I want to see her pop up on SmackDown and challenge Sasha Banks for that SmackDown title yesterday. I think her versus Sasha Banks is one hell of a match, and not even just hell of a match, because the two mean streaks that they both can go on and tell a story is incredible. So do I think she's going to be there after the pandemic? Who knows? Should she? Absolutely be there, because they need her. And every other women's wrestling division needs Thunder Rosa as well. She should probably just play the game and just be everywhere, to be honest. Just go around. Go test the waters around the world.
I think that's what she is actually currently doing, is she's just kind of testing the waters. I don't know if she's even signed exclusively to NWA anymore, because I mean, there's a lot up in the air with NWA. Like, I don't know what's happening with them. They're just kind of there. I mean, the last time we heard someone outside of a women's wrestler from NWA was Billy Corgan, when he did like the VO for the NWA women's title, like a couple of months back. That's the last time I feel like we've heard any substantial information about them. So I don't really know what's going on. I hope Thunder Rosa stays around in AEW, because I think that would be they need more substance for sure there.
Can I just say about this match, Britt Baker, because I know he threw it off with the question. Britt Baker, this is made for her, and if she doesn't challenge for the women's title like yesterday, I think they're going to drop the ball for her, because this was made for her, man. Like, to show the mean streak that she had. And I've been a Britt Baker fan, and I think she should have went for the title, but I think they're saving her for what's her name? Alien.
Chris Statlander.
I think they're saving it for her versus Chris Statlander for a title shot. I think that's their money. I think in their mind, that's their money feud. If you've seen how they were building it, because they're building Chris Statlander was going to win, and Britt Baker was just right on the corner, and that was going to be their big American woman money feud to kind of help build that women's title. And now that she's back traveling with them, she could be back anytime. So we'll see, man. I'm excited for Britt Baker. What's on her horizon.
Quickly to your point, though, like, you could have Britt win the belt, and the moment she wins that belt, maybe wins the rematch or something, that's when Statlander returns, and we return to that feud. Because I agree with Neeson fully. Like, I think since day one, we thought the division was going to kind of be built around Britt Baker, and at the time Kylie Ray. But Britt's kind of been there. She's been doing stuff, but it's been more Shida and Riho and Nyla Rose that have been positioned in that top spot. And I think this week showed that Britt Baker could be like the top heel as champion. If they can keep Thunder Rosa, it'd be amazing. Like, they have women there that they can feature. Man, they have Elise and Diamante on Dark every week, when they should be featured on the main show too, because people are familiar with them already. I don't know. But I do think I see everything you're saying, and I agree with it. And I think Britt Baker should be used a lot better. And to your point, Sasha has great matches with everyone, so that would be dope. So,
and Ken is a mind reader, obviously, because I was going to say, well, maybe Britt Baker could just win the whole damn tournament. We have the Women's World Championship Eliminator tournament coming up. They named every competitor, and this was the first time John popped for AEW Dynamite. We have the United States side, which is Serena Deeb, Riho, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Tay Conti, Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, Anna Jay, and Layla Hirsch. And then we announced the Japanese side. We got Aja Khan. We have a bunch of other people. We know Yuka Sakazaki. We know her. We know Emi Sakura. We have a couple of other people here who may not be as familiar to other people. We have Veni, who was actually Asuka in Japan 4 weeks before Asuka debuted under the name Asuka. So she took that L in stride. She is a fantastic wrestler. She's now going under a different name. But for me, Maka Ito is the standout. When they announced Maka Ito, I went absolutely insane. She is known as the cutest wrestler in the world. And if you do not agree, she's probably going to headbutt your ass. She is one of the best characters in Japan, in my opinion, in my limited knowledge. I just started watching her matches like a couple of months ago, and I went, holy shit, this girl's great. I really hope she makes it far in this. I mean, that would be fun. I would be fine with that, Mike, seeing Thunder Rosa beat up Riho for like 5 shows straight. That would be fun. So what do you guys think of this tournament? Do you think Britt Baker takes it all? And I think more interesting than anything is Riho's coming back to the United States.
Yes, Rio. I mean, well, yes, Rio. Cool. I think Britt Baker does take it all. I think, look, we know their women's division has suffered, and I understand the influence or the influx of Japanese stars, and they're very talented. But if you want to gain interest from a variety of more of wrestling fans just within your own country, and it's about getting people that are over to win. This turn is made to get somebody over. The same thing they did with Kenny Omega and getting Kenny Omega over as a single star when he won his tournament. And it was just set up literally for him to run through it and to go from a tag team to a single to winning a title within a month, right? Like that's what it was for. This is the time they could do that for Britt Baker or for any woman on that roster. I just think they should really do it for and it sounds bad, but for a non-Japanese wrestler at the time. I think now they should definitely highlight and make that person strong. So therefore, when they do take off the belt, people will care more. I think a lot of times when Rio won and even when Karashida won, like when they won, we popped because we're just wrestling fans and we like, of course we like their work, but can we connect to these characters? And they didn't spend a lot of time showing us who these characters were. Like, who is Kurashida? Like, why is she this? Who is Rio? Why was Rio that? Like, right? Like, who are these people? And this is not PWG. This is not PWG. This is television. This is storytelling. And they know that because they do it great with the Young Bucks. They do it great with Kenny Omega when they have to. They do it great with the Elite, period. When it comes to the women, they fell off. So this is their time.
So I guess my question to you, Justin, would be, what could they do? Because we know a lot of the women's wrestlers on the U.S. side. They've been around. We know all about them. But on the Japanese side, what could they do? Does it have to be like little promo packages, just showcasing them? What does it have to be to?
I think it has to be. It's almost like, I remember to the point of Rio, like I was never behind her until she was feuding with Nyla Rose, and they started putting these promo packages together and featuring her on the road twos. And I'm like, oh, I could actually get behind her because now I'm getting to know who she was. When they threw the belt on her, I had no idea. So it's gonna have to be that, like, I know they did it for the Cruiserweight Classic, but I was gonna throw out for people that might not have watched the Cruiserweight Classic. It's got to be like that American Idol, The Voice, like that pre-promo package before someone goes out there and sings their heart out. So you kind of relate with them and you connect with them. Like, that's very necessary, and they have the ability to do it because if anything, AEW has done really well since day one is they put together really good promo packages. I do think that Britt Baker might need to be the one to win the belt. There's someone on the American side, just for the fact that you're on TNT and America's a very patriotic country. Man, you can put the belt on Jinder Mahal or anybody from a different country and they're automatically a bad guy because America loves America. So I think there's a point to like get the belt on someone there, and then you can build these other stars as that person's holding the belt. But I do think there needs to be promo packages, and please do not feature 90% of these matches on Dark for the tournament and have them on Dynamite. I know there's only so much time because Revolution's in March, but at least like the people that you want us to care about, put them on Dynamite. Like, it's okay if we have 2 women's matches on Dynamite. I think we had there's been weeks on SmackDown we've had like 3 women's matches, and that's also like a 2-hour show. It's possible.
Yeah, if you want us to care about it. And the other thing Ken in chat. Did they announce the actual brackets? If they could you drop them in chat? Because Rio and Britt Baker in the first round is news to me. I didn't know that. If they just announced it, let us know, because I would like to know what those matchups are. But all the Japanese. Oh, here's another thing. If you're tired of seeing Hikaru Shida, she's in Japan right now, and she's producing all of those matches. So that's
from Japan.
Yes, from Japan. So she went back home. She's producing all of the matches. And
so they're gonna pre-tape the Japan and Japan. They're gonna pre-tape the Japan and Japan side.
So
see, I didn't know any of that. I'm like, wait, there's wrestling happening in Japan? I thought it was all happening here. Like everyone was just coming here.
No.
I've been quarantining for like 2 weeks already or something.
Which would have been great, but all the Japanese matches are going to be, unfortunately, with no fans, probably to keep secrecy. So the match results aren't leaked. I have read that they're going to be on Fight TV and something else, but that's only for Japan. They have not announced what they're doing for the US. But I think it would be in AEW's best interest to be like, now we go live to Japan, and here's a first round match, and have Excalibur, Tony, and Jim do commentary over it.
I think. Why would you do anything else? Why would you tape? Why would you have blind wrestling matches going on a tournament that you're promoting on your show and only showing half of the bracket on your live television show? Like that makes me scared, because that makes me feel like they're gonna put the Japanese matches on dark.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, didn't they have that women's tournament, the tag tournament, where like half the matches were on like dark?
80% was on dark.
Well, it was just on YouTube. It was on its own women's tournament show. It was like a whole separate show. Hopefully it's not like that. Let it like be on Dynamite. Let it be a part of the.
That's scary. That's I have faith in them. I'm a hold out judgment.
Benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes, maybe, because a lot of people online are like, y'all need to fix your women's division. Like, and I know they've been saying that, but it seems to be a lot louder now. So hopefully, and I will say, Cody says he wants to see Maka Ito win the whole thing. So when the guy in charge is saying that, hopefully, I know, but I think we give them the benefit of the doubt too much when they haven't really shown
if Shida wasn't the champion. Like if Britt or someone else was already the champion, or Thunder Rosa and then Maka Ito won, then I'd be like, okay, cool. But I don't want to see a Japanese woman against Shida and still be like, I have no background of these people.
And when they're not even wrestling in America, like they're not even on televised. Like you're gonna show it on Fight. So now that's somebody you have to go to a whole nother platform to.
That's just for Japan. We don't know if they're doing that in America.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, for if you want the person that you want to win, you want a person to go to a whole nother platform to watch that person's match.
Gotcha.
It should be on Dynamite. I think
I agree.
Pingo's idea of them shooting to I mean, it's not. I know they have some pockets of fans at the Dynamite shows, but I think it's okay to shoot to a match in the middle of Dynamite for the sake of,
Yeah, they could run another match. They could run a match on
live for the people while that's there.
Yeah.
True. They could record a dark match while we at home while watching this.
I really don't think it's that. It feels like it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
And if you really want this to feel like a special tournament, which I will throw maybe some galaxy brain nonsense at you guys in a couple of minutes. If you really want this Japanese tournament to feel big, you should probably show it on your main television show. I'm just saying.
That's what we're all saying.
Now, let's move on, because we had a pretty big main event, and a pretty good main event, I will say. The Good Brothers and Kenny Omega taking on Pac, Ray Phoenix, and John Moxley. This is a great.
Did we mention the music? Did we mention the music?
Oh, new theme song for Kenny Omega / the Good Brothers. I don't know who it was made for, but I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was it was when I heard it, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I flew over my head. I need to go back and watch it. But the fact that Neeson said it's good, and he's been really hard on everybody's theme music everywhere, It must be good, so I'll have to check it
Guys,
out.
Nikki Cross's music is trash.
It's
What is
awful.
going on?
He's the most critical about the music.
What is going
he
on?
says it's good. I gotta go check it out.
I want to take a sidebar to SmackDown real quick.
Yeah.
What do we think of Ziggler and Rude's new music?
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not either.
I'm not mad at it, but it hasn't clicked yet.
See, it probably has. I actually enjoyed it because it gave them a new feel when they came out. It made me feel like I wasn't watching Dolph Ziggler and Friends. It made me feel like I was watching the Dirty Dogs.
I will also say they need to get new jackets because they are way too Triple H looking. The denim with the leather, and even Bobby Roode was like, "Yeah," he started to do the pose, and I was like, "No, man, don't do that." But anyway,
it makes you think that Ziggler is a big DX fan or something.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, he grew up. They're the same age. We could talk about that because I like what they did with the Street Profits in that segment too. But that's a whole nother thing.
So main event, very, very good. Really liked it. If you didn't think Rey Fenix was a main event star and will be world champion one day, I don't know what is wrong with you, but this dude,
what a shot.
This dude is on another level. I'm never like, oh, Rey Fenix is coming out. Man, just great stuff. A lot of beatdown of Moxley. We got the hot tag to, I believe, Phoenix at one point. Everybody looked great in this match. Everybody looked fantastic, but that's not the big story, folks. That's not the big story. The big LG pins Phoenix. No, the big LG pins Phoenix. We have Moxley. He's going after Good Brothers and everybody. He gets blindsided from behind, and the man I've been waiting my entire life to see on Dynamite, KENTA, attacks him. Go to sleep.
Club.
Fuck you, John Moxley. It's over. And the forbidden door has seemingly been open. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the exclusive YouTube footage afterwards where Kenny Omega follows KENTA and goes, "Hey, brother Switchblade didn't tell me to expect any visitors, but thanks for helping me out." And KENTA says, "Fuck you." He tries to give him the too sweet, and he says, "Fuck you. I'm here to beat up John Moxley, and that's it." And he leaves. And then Kenny turns camera, does a promo, and we're going to get next week, we're going to get KENTA and Kenny Omega with Don Callis taking on Moxley and Archer. Lance Archer came out at the end as well. Holy crap, you guys. And also Don Callis on commentary going, "It's funny how these things seem to happen when I'm around." It was just a very like weird, subtle like thing that he said. Guys,
I got a couple of problems. It was sweet. It was great to see KENTA there. Obviously, it gave us the entire like feeling of like, you know, maybe New Japan is working together with AEW. Something that I've wanted since day one, because I was in All In, and one of the coolest things about All In was being able to see Okada and stuff too. Like it added to this whole idea of what AEW is going to be in the long run. Obviously, I know they've been trying to push for this KENTA Moxley match for months now, because it probably should have happened at Wrestle Kingdom. There wasn't a pandemic, because KENTA's had that briefcase and Moxley's the US champion still. But to bring him to AEW is so dope. Where did Lance Archer come from? Why is he part of this? Like, I'm a bigger Pac fan. It would have been nice if this was still like Moxley and Pac maybe against these two. Also, the last thing is, and that's the only complaint I have, because I think I'm a bigger fan of Pac, or even Rey Fenix. If it was one of those two with Moxley against these two, I think I would have been more into it. And then lastly, just I liked how Kenny Omega in that exclusive clip was like, "Hello from the American Club," as if there's two separate clubs now. Like, it's like if any of you guys were Sons of Anarchy fans, there was different clubs in different territories, right? Like charters, they would say. And if they're the American Club and there's now a Japanese club, which Tama Tonga will fully deny that there's any separate clubs. I just wish somehow in the far future, when this pandemic calms down, we can get like an American club versus the New Japan club in like Blood and Guts or something. But that's all I got to say. And Lance Archer is the only thing that threw me off. But I absolutely love the moment. A dude came in there in a mask and took it off. I popped for guys popping in a mask without knowing who it is. And it was cool, man. It was good stuff.
Neeson?
First of all, I am so happy and elated for my brother Pingle here. That's the first person I thought of. That's why my heart smiled, because like he said, he's been waiting for this his entire life and it paid off. And the only thing that I thought about after I was out there, I jumped for joy in Pingle's behalf, was the wrestling landscape now has officially changed. Like before, yes, it changed with AEW coming on the scene and giving somebody else somewhere to go. And then it's kind of like the tide lift all ships. But now you legitimately, you can't look at WWE as professional wrestling. You have to look at them. They are the Disney of professional wrestling. They are entertainment. They are a multimedia company. They are a content creating machine. They're not in the wrestling business. They're in the media business. They make movies. So that was my thought. I was like, oh, this is it. They're playing wrestling. WWE is playing entertainment. And it sucks because they have a brand that they put up against their wrestling that just now has to go and dig, like their grave is done and now they have to hop in there and they just have to let the dirt fly over it. So all those talented people that just been there for years and years and years are now going to get buried because it's literally nothing. There's nothing.
Ooh.
Next Wednesday live.
I said in our chat, man, imagine watching NXT live ever again. Couldn't be me.
And it sucks because it's like, yes, NXT has some, they put on some bangers. They have some very talented people, but now they're going up against New Japan and AEW, American club versus a Japanese club, as Justin just said, a KENTA going against John Moxley in AEW, coming after the belt. They yes, pass on Lance Archer, but Kenny Omega and KENTA versus John Moxley and Lance Archer, like with Jake the Snake taking bumps.
Yeah,
like nobody's watching NXT live.
No,
it's crazy. Like they have the formula. They have the old timer, the legend. They have the new timers, and they have the foreign people and the former WWE star. Guys, the wrestling landscape is changing. I can't stress this enough. And WWE literally, if they want to stay in the wrestling business, and the only thing they have that's dealing in the wrestling business is NXT, if they want to keep that around and not have it turn into NXT UK, they need to go and reshuffle the deck and figure it out quick. They can't move to Thursdays because you know why? Why they can't move to Thursdays, Fingal? Why can't they move to Thursdays?
Well, they can't move to well, I mean, we'll talk about this a little more in depth. But let pause for a second.
Yeah.
I believe Lance Archer's in this. I mean, maybe because of his familiarity in New Japan.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He was part of Suzuki-gun for a while. Also, he tried to kill John Moxley during Wrestle Kingdom, which also doesn't make any sense because last time we saw those two, they were literally trying to kill each other. So I don't know. I think
Lance Archer did have a standout year in that G1 that year.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not fronting him. I'm just saying it just doesn't really make sense because of all the things you just said.
I do want to point out one last thing before we move on to the New Japan thing, though. It is crazy that we literally had, like, if you look at it, AEW, I remember when I was at All In, and All In was pre-AEW, but it was a mixture of everything, you know? Like, they had New Japan people, they had Ring of Honor guys there, and I'm like, if AEW could be a thing where it's a mixture of everything, it'd be amazing, but obviously that wasn't the case because they needed exclusive contracts. Yet some guys still had contracts which allowed them to work in Japan, Jericho, Moxie, whatnot. But just on this episode of Impact Dynamite, we had stars from Impact, we had stars from NWA, we had stars from AEW and New Japan. Like, that's crazy. They literally are, in a weird way, all working together. Impact still has its own deal, New Japan still has its own deal, but these guys could pop in here and we can cross-promote something that WWE says they would love to do but never will. Instead of working with other companies, other places, like, we're going to work with Progress and work with ICW. No, we're just going to take all the talent and make NXT UK. these guys are actually working together, but allowing people to still do their own thing. And I think that's super cool. And then I'll let you go move forward. But one last thing I want to ask you, Pingo, specifically.
Yes.
Did you appreciate Dave Meltzer downplaying the popularity of Kenta on Twitter with multiple people being like, well, he's not as big as a star as Ibushi, or he's not as big as a star as this person. Like Kenta's, he just had a brief time in NXT. That's why he's popular. Like he was really trying to downplay Kenta.
Look, Hideo Itami is dead. This is the wrestler that Kenta was and should have always been. If you watched any of his old stuff in mid 2000s from Noah, this is the dude. He can be the dude. And now that he has this very flippant attitude and he's in Bullet Club, man, he has just been on a tear. I don't like the downplaying. I think like I said, I think Kenta's great. I think this is a big deal. I think this is a big deal for New Japan Strong. I would love to know the numbers they do for new subscribers just to watch Moxley versus Kenta, which that match has apparently already been taped, according to the thing I'm reading. But yeah, I mean, he's not as big as Ibushi. Who is as big as Ibushi right now? I mean,
exactly.
And Kenta's been trying to help us out here with New Japan Strong. He was over in California trying to get that off the ground. Yeah, he came off real bad with that take. And I would, you know what? And Kenta got injured a lot when he was in NXT, and
that was the only issue.
It was heartbreaking because you could see he was going to win that NXT title against Owens in Japan. That was his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he got hurt. And just every time you thought he was going to just get back out there and do his thing, he got hurt. And I will say, isn't it funny that he's been in Japan for like 2-3 years and
not once
hasn't gotten hurt once?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where you weren't supposed to be here, and the universe was showing you that you weren't supposed to be here, and that's all. I don't think it's anything towards WWE. Or I know people are like, oh, he should have not saying you, but like, oh, they should have let him be that, and he couldn't be that because he was always on the shelf.
Yeah, I know it's not a philosophical show, but if that was the road to take to be where he is now, he's killing it right now. So that was part of the journey. Then I'm all for it.
I will say I was very privileged to see NXT out of Florida for the first time WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, you went to that forbidden show.
I sold my Ring of Honor tickets and said to myself, well, I guess I'm never going to see Jushin Thunder Liger live, which I was like, I have to go see NXT. Mm-hmm. I saw Jushin Thunder Liger live like 4 times after that, so it wasn't that bad. But that was the night Kenta did the go to sleep for the first time. And
I'm very jealous of you right now, by the way. Very jealous.
Man, that weekend, listen, when everything gets back to normal and LA gets its due time here, I'm gonna be broke and sleep deprived, but it's going to be great. I'm very hyped for when that happens. But Meltzer also said, besides his terrible take, he has said that the deal is done on the working relationship.
Album's done.
The album is done. It's in post. But no, between AEW and New Japan, and so the deal is done. That much we know. And another thing we knew, the night after. Or not the night after, the morning after, New Japan Pro Wrestling announced that they have a new show in North America and the UK on Roku. It's going to be on the Roku channel. It's a 1-hour show, weekly, 5 p.m. There you go. You got it all. It debuts this week.
What on what day?
The 11th.
What day is it? That's a
Thursday.
Oh, that's why NXT can't move to Thursday.
Well, I guess my question to you guys is, like, when you heard Roku, because they they gave us all the clues: purple background, white lettering in all of their little like coming soon to here, and people were like, it's probably Roku, and it ended up being Roku. Do you think this is like the big move for them?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a start, but the big move is having a deal done with AEW. I think that's going to use that to catapult that audience, because their audience is AEW's audience. And to have them watch on a separate day, which is not on a Tuesday, not on a Wednesday, but on a Thursday, it's going to help not only introduce AEW to Japan, but really start to get reacquainted with the American audience in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so it's a perfect marriage early, and then, give it, who knows how long this deal is. What is it, 3-year deal, 5-year deal, however year deal?
I do not know.
But they could mess around and get a TV contract with, they had, with Access or with Pop TV or whatever, like they could mess around and get, hey, let's do another wrestling show on TNT, on another day, so it can happen. And I think, our TBS, so I think it could happen, and I think it could happen sometime in the near future. Yeah,
I will say late after Kenta showed up, I went, how crazy would it be if that TV deal for New Japan was on TBS?
Yep.
That would have been, I would have lost my mind once again. Justin, what do you think about this Roku? I mean, I have, in my lifetime, I've had probably 3 Rokus. I have a Roku TV, so it's, I know a lot of people have Roku. So a lot of people mostly have Roku.
I have a smart TV that has it as well. It's a good start. Like, it's a good place to start. If they're literally navigating their product from Japan here. Like, I don't know exactly what the show's going to be about. I didn't really look that much into it. Like, is it going to be New Japan Strong stuff, or is it going to be like actual New Japan content from like Japan?
That we do not. That I have not actually looked into. I am not sure. It's
going to be like main event, but New Japan style.
Is it just going to be matches, showcasing matches? Are we going to get angles and stuff? Like, what do we like? There's so many questions I have before I get too excited about it, but I'm excited that people get to see it here. The hardcore fans are going to love it. And that's, like you guys said, the AEW fan base is basically made of hardcore fans. They don't cater to casual fans that proper anyways. So having the New Japan guys on there is great exposure for them to promote their Roku show too. Hence, I think why this deal was done a lot sooner than we all expected. And this Roku deal was a huge deal for it. But we've been told there was supposed to be a second AEW show on television for about a year now, but the pandemic put a hold on everything. I already think that AEW has a deep roster, but if you're going to have a second show and you can work with guys in Japan and Impact and stuff like that, and maybe feature them on there, and I think that'd be really cool, man. And I don't want that second show to be Dark. I think Dark is great where it is on YouTube. Let it live there, and we could have something really cool here. But this is a great start for New Japan, and it's a great start for American fans and others that don't watch it to maybe check it out and give it a shot, because it is an entirely different style of wrestling than what we have in North America. No matter what AEW said about trying to be a sports-based product, they also fell into like a little bit of that entertainment side, because you have to with the North American.
You have to. Yeah.
You have to. Like I never try to get
records count, Justin. Records count.
I mean, Joey Janela keeps getting title shots, and I don't know why, if records count. And no disrespect to Joey Janela, he's the man. I never understand, like, he gets a title shot after title shot. I'm like, he doesn't have a great record, so I don't know about these records. But if someone is looking for something that is completely different and isn't WWE and isn't kind of still finding themselves like AEW, New Japan knows what it is. Yeah, it'll give you that wrestling, and it's already got stars, and it's already really well produced. No disrespect to Ring of Honor and stuff, but sometimes you don't know who the people are or what's happening there. And the production's not the greatest of the greatest, but Japan has it down.
So before we move on to WWE, because I know we've been very AEW New Japan heavy, chat, drop your dream matches, New Japan, AEW Impact. My last thing that I actually want to ask you guys is, now that New Japan technically has a show in America, and we know that there is a deal between AEW and New Japan, and we know we're doing the women's tournament that half of it takes place in New Japan, or I'm sorry, half of it takes place in Japan, half of it takes place in America. Do you think this year's G1 has the possibility of being held half in America, half in Japan, one block in America block, Japan block, and at the end we have the winners of those blocks face off?
1,000%. I think if they don't do that, they're stupid. Like, they literally have an American deal, like with American players or with more players that speak English. They need that. They need to have go back to Dallas Arena, have your American block, have a B block, whatever. Have them work it out there. That only airs on Roku. They need to do that.
I agree. I think it's completely possible, and to also promote what you're doing here in America, like that's the best way to do it. Like Roku's gonna be pumped because that's gonna get people signing up for Roku, like not crazy. So like I think there's business wise, like it's smart. Best for business, as they like to say, right?
Best for business, yes. All right, let's move on to WWE. We got Rumble Fallout, guys. Rumble Fallout and Edge all over the world. There he is. He's like, oh boy, I wanted to tell Drew McIntyre that I was going to face him, but then Sheamus is mad. Oh boy, and I think we have 2 pictures where he's just interrupted by someone. So Edge still has not given us our answer. Three pictures. Oh yes. Oh my God, I forgot about Kevin Owens.
Didn't stick around long enough for there to be a proper picture. That's the only problem.
Isn't there? Don't I have one? Isn't there?
Maybe with him doing the stunner, but there's no like. Oh, I guess so. I guess so. Roman's not technically standing though, so it's a little different. True.
We could Photoshop it to make it look like he's in the stands. But I guess out of the 3 segments, guys, which one stood out the most to you? And do you still think Edge is going to face off against who you originally thought he was after this?
I initially thought it was going to be Edge versus Roman. I just felt like that's what they were going to do. And I really don't want them to do that because I feel like SmackDown being the A show for the past few months, they have so much talent on there that could face Roman and could be a bigger or better match, whether it's as Daniel Bryan, whether it's a Cesaro or a Shinsuke or anybody else or Owen still. Like, there's so many combinations that Roman can still work with someone that's already on the SmackDown roster, and it could be great. Now with Raw, I don't know who should be facing Drew. But when Drew and Edge spoke, like I felt no chemistry and no intrigue to be like, I want to see this match.
Oh boy.
Like there was nothing about it that made me go, like, I want to see this. Now I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, but I do think it's still gonna end up being Edge versus Roman, unfortunately. But I felt the most interested and the most intrigued with Edge's visit to NXT. When he was talking to Finn and he was talking to Pete Dunne and he was talking about how like NXT revigorated his passion for wrestling and was part of the reason he wanted to come back, I was sold. I was sold more on that than him talking to Drew saying, you're being too nice to me for someone that could challenge you, or him staring at Roman where Roman was like, fight me because I want you to want to fight me because I'm the head of the table until he got stunned. I felt something when he talked to Finn and Pete Dunne. And then to put a cherry on top, that confrontation with Karrion Kross, like that too just made me go like, oh, like Edge versus Karrion Kross, Edge versus Finn Balor, Edge versus Pete Dunne, all these guys. Like, I want to see that. I know a lot of people I've talked to when I've talked about this are like, well, putting Edge on NXT is like, taking someone and putting him in the minor leagues. They're like, yada, yada. And I'm like, but NXT needs it. If on the flip side you have dudes like Kenta showing up in Dynamite, maybe NXT needs an Edge down there or something. And I think I know that they're most likely going to defend the NXT championship on WrestleMania this year because it is 2 nights again. I'm okay with Edge versus Finn. Once again, I'm not going to give WWE the benefit of the doubt to go that route and get that creative and actually like really sell us on that because it doesn't seem like they've been pushing towards that direction. I do think it's going to end up being Edge versus Roman. But personally, I'm down for Edge versus Finn. I know people aren't fans of that. And if he does face Roman, I don't want Edge to be the one to beat Roman. I think someone else is deserving of that spot eventually down the road. I think Roman needs to keep his momentum for as long as he can. I know a lot of people will be like, well, he's a heel. He can lose it. Edge is a perfect guy for it. lose it too because he's like, he's coming back, great comeback story, yada, yada, yada. And then Roman can get mad and angry and have to get his belt back. And that makes him even more. And I'm like, I'm not about that. If anything, if anyone else was going to beat Roman Reigns and it wasn't Edge, I would be more with it. Like, I know I'm going a little long enough, but the other thing that bothers me about right now is that if you look at the roster, there's so many dudes that were around in 2008, 2009 that are still here. Whether it's Jeff Hardy, whether it's Rey Mysterio, whether it's Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Edge, Christian, Carlito popped up, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, all these guys were in the first decade of the 2000s, and they're still here. How many guys were in the WWF in 1988, still here in 2002, and going after the world title at WrestleMania? Okay, Hogan, Flair, and maybe one other person was still around, Shawn Michaels. But it was like it's really hard for anyone else to break out if we keep using Goldberg and Edge and these guys. And I'm happy Edge is back. But if they are going to go the Roman route, then he has to lose to Roman. He needs to be on that Shawn Michaels 2003 to 2010 run where he doesn't win any titles and just putting dudes over. My personal opinion, I'm an Edge fan. He's in my top 10 favorites of all time because I was a teenager when the Rated R Superstar was popping off. But that's my opinion. And the floor is now your guys'.
Neeson?
I don't. Honestly, I forgot what the question was.
Who do you want to see Edge face?
Which of the segments stood out to you, and do you still want to see Edge face the person you originally wanted him to face?
Which of the segments stood out to me? None of them. We don't want to see him face the person I originally wanted him to face. No, because I wanted him to face the Fiend. So, this is what I think is going to happen. I would ask you this: would you bring Edge back to not have him in the main event? Would you have Edge win the Royal Rumble starting at 1, last coming after an injury to not be the main event? The main event, as Paul Heyman says, goes through the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So there is no other option. Now, granted, I want him to go against Finn Balor out of the champions, because I think that's more of an interesting combination. But after New Japan, I don't want Edge nowhere near NXT because it's just going to get. You don't put Edge in NXT. Matter of fact, you know how much they don't care about NXT. Karrion Kross is about to leave NXT. Now, I mean, I will tell you the reason why. 1, Randall. 2, that promo. Randall is the second one again. But 3, that promo that little stare down he had with Edge was just like, yeah, man, you should be on the main roster. Look how you're towering over me. Look how big you look right now against me. You should be on the main roster. Go get it. So don't. As soon as Randall did that, Vince was like, "Who? Oh, we have this guy? Yeah, why is he not up here now? We just got rid of Lars Sullivan to get Karrion Kross up here,
and he comes up with a gorgeous woman.
A gorgeous. Oh, he's gonna love her. So that's my thing. It can't be NXT because NXT is dead in the water.
It really is.
They're literally dead in the water. So it's gonna be Roman. It's more. You could do spear versus spear. You could do. He could beat. Roman's gonna beat Edge, of course, and really state his claim as the head of the table. And then once he beats him, once Edge loses, right after that, he's gonna have Seth Rollins to go against, and that's gonna be the real money feud for Edge going into the summer. It's gonna be Seth Rollins and Edge, and so it's the traveling Edge is done.
I'm totally okay with it as long as Edge doesn't go over Roman. I'm just not down with that.
No, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
That's the only thing I fear. That's the only thing.
Right. Yeah, you both make great points. While I do think Edge versus Finn would probably be the best bet in terms of making NXT feel bigger once again. I do also agree that NXT is pretty much RIP.
Yep.
So that wouldn't make a lot of sense. And if you win the Royal Rumble, you should be in the main event. And the main event does go through Roman Reigns. So I feel like that is exactly who he should face.
Yeah, I would say I'll save my comment for our next topic because it flows right into it. But yeah, Drew probably is going to end up facing either a Lesnar. He's going to end up facing a Lesnar, maybe a Karrion. It'd be dope if he faced Karrion Kross. Like that'd be some crazy crap.
Yeah.
If they pull him up, put him in the Elimination Chamber, and have him win the Elimination Chamber. That will be nuts.
Hot shot straight to the top.
We got a couple of months. We got a couple of shows. I mean, before WrestleMania, where you can face Sheamus and whoever else. There's time for someone to come back for Drew and make his match feel important.
TikTok.
I still personally think Roman's going to be main eventing night 2. I don't think Drew's even going to be facing main eventing night 1 because there's another match I think could be a bigger deal. But
oh, right, the match that we.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to.
Yeah, and I knew that's why I want to say it, but. Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Bianca Belair didn't show up on any other show to challenge any other champion, correct?
No.
Okay, so pretty much done deal. I feel that she's gonna be facing Sasha at Mania.
I feel like she showed up on Raw, but she didn't do it. She didn't do it in ring.
Did she show
a promo? No, I think that promo is also backstage on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was backstage on. Yeah, her promo is backstage on Raw, and then she had a backstage promo on SmackDown, right?
Raw's so long, I wouldn't even remember.
Exactly, I can't remember.
So, I mean, the one that stands out is we had this segment. And
what a ring.
So this is the match we want. This is the match we are probably most likely to get. Are we going to see the return of heel Sasha Banks come WrestleMania?
I think we're going to have to see the return of heel Sasha Banks just to make Bianca a star. And as it gets closer, and as much as I think Sasha should hold the title as they move closer to she should hold the title to SummerSlam. Honestly, I think you have Bianca win. Like this has been such a. I wish she would have closed out Rumble with her win and her crying and just the me and Pingo. We talked about this in the chat about her. She's been the only one since Randy Orton that they have hot shot this young upstart star, put them and catapult them to the main event of WrestleMania.
And I'm sure she has a way better attitude than Randy Orton.
Clearly. She clearly has a way better attitude. I just think imagine beating Banks and her winning in a main event night on a Saturday night, her main eventing a show, and just fireworks at Raymond James Stadium going crazy. And not only that, it'll be an African American women's match main eventing, closing out a WrestleMania. When is the last time an African American has closed out a WrestleMania? The Rock. When is the last time an African American woman has closed out a WrestleMania? Never. Imagine 2. You're giving Banks her flowers, and you're giving Bianca her flowers. It's a win-win. And I think, unfortunately, the person because you can't have Roman has to close out. Roman is the main event.
He's night 2 for sure.
Yeah, Roman is the main event, like period. So the person that loses in this is Drew. Like they don't have an opponent. Like they wasted him in a Goldberg match. And so you have Sasha turn heel, crank it up for the next 3 months and kill it. And put Bianca over just as high as she can on WrestleMania. So when she raises her hand high and those fireworks are going off, everybody, we're getting a Kofi Mania moment at that moment.
Yeah. If those women didn't if that triple threat with Ronda didn't main event at 35, it should have been Kofi and Bryan because the night almost died after that. And I was there live, so I'm saying that from a live perspective. But that was the thing I noticed. The moment I remembered, because I forgot at first, I'm like, WrestleMania is 2 nights again. The beauty in that is that we could have two different main events, and I think Bianca and Sasha is the perfect main event for that first night. I think it's the best way to cap it off. And Sasha's been able to sell this before. When they did 2 nights for Great American Bash at NXT, it was Sasha and Io that main evented that first night. She's a draw. They won the demographics during that match against AEW. They can do the same here. Do I think Sasha needs to go full heel? She's got to be more heelish. I want to throw it back to when she fought Ronda. She didn't turn full heel there, but she was confident, she was cocky, and she still knew how good she was. And I think she needs to keep portraying that attitude, you know? And we already saw it this week on SmackDown a little bit, which is like, you're not the bestest and whatnot, right? Other than that, I think she's had a long enough reign. She's gone past 100 days. Wow, Drew is the dullest. She's gone 100 days. All we wanted from Sasha was to have a reign that went multiple defenses, and she went past 100 days, and we've gotten that. And I'm sure she's going to be champion multiple times again in the future. Give it to Bianca. Let her have that moment. Let us have that happy, feel-good moment, because if we're already saying things like we don't want Roman to lose the belt and that's going to be a heel that goes over, let Bianca be the happy babyface that wins the belt at WrestleMania as we move forward.
Absolutely.
And I just quickly want to throw in there that I think Carmella's done a great job in the role she's been in these past couple of months with Sasha. She's held her own. She's delivered. She's looked good. For anyone that was scared that Carmella's going to get involved with this match because they were all three of them were standing in the ring and everyone's like, this reminds me of Charlotte standing there with Becky and Ronda. I don't think it's that situation.
No.
I think it's just to keep her involved with it up until WrestleMania, and then we're going to strictly just Bianca and Sasha.
All right. Man, Mike with the Drew is the EST comment. My goodness. All right, let's coming up on Sunday, we have NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. And if you were listening to us earlier, man, oh man, we deeply care about NXT right now.
What is Karrion Kross doing fighting Pablo Escobar or whatever his name is?
That makes absolutely no sense.
That's
I watched NXT for the first time this week in like months because Edge was on it. Like I kind of kept keep up with it, but I actually like had it on at the same time as Dynamite.
Yeah.
And I looked down and I'm like, why is Scarlett watching this cruiserweight title match? And then why is Karrion? I was so confused.
They have no idea what they're doing. They literally have no idea what they're doing.
That's my only comment about this week's NXT.
Santos Escobar. Okay.
Oh, Pablo.
All right, let's go through our predictions. We have a triple threat for the NXT Women's Championship. We have Io Shirai versus, oh my goodness, you're not bringing up the things, so I can't remember. Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Do we think Io retains again? I feel like, yeah, right?
Yes, yes, she does, and they have nobody. She's just gonna have to give the belt away.
Like Asuka.
Yeah, she retains. I don't know. You give it a Dakota or something after. I don't know. Raquel, that was cool. I don't know.
See, I feel like if Raquel Gonzalez wasn't in this Dusty Classic, she'd be in this match, and I would be like, she's winning this belt, like straight up.
I'd be okay with that. That's the only. And they're bringing. What did they do with Xia Li? Is she coming back all crazy or something? Like I don't know.
I don't know. They did a little backstory.
The whole dope thing, but we don't have time.
We don't got time. All right, up next for the North American Championship, we have Johnny Gargano taking on Kushida. I don't think Kushida wins, but I will say I am glad he's finally getting a title match, a one-on-one title match that actually seems like it's been building for a little bit, because Kushida has just been the invisible man in NXT. I know he was hurt for a while, but I mean, they made a huge deal about him being signed, and now he's wrestling in jeans. I think it's Gargano. That's my piece.
Gargano. That's it. I have nothing else to say.
You think Kushida wins?
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't be against it if he does. Great.
We have 2 Dusty finals coming up. We have MSK. It's either MSK or Legado del Fantasma, or the Grizzled Young Vets versus Ciampa and Thatcher. I guess, who do you think's going to the finals, and then who do you think will win the finals out of those 4? It's MSK versus Fantasma, and then Grizzled Young Vets versus Ciampa Thatcher.
I think it's going to be MSK versus the Grizzled Young Vets. I want to say Ciampa and Thatcher, but I don't know. I don't really care that much either, to be honest. And I just think MSK is going to take the whole thing.
MSK versus Ciampa and Tommaso with
Tommaso and Ciampa, yeah.
with MSK losing?
Yes.
Oh, they're going to lose.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think they love their odd bellows.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. It's
true. They're going to end up winning it after they're going to win the title. I think they're going to end up getting their title shot for sure.
I personally agree with Mike. I think it'll be MSK versus Grizzled Young Vets, and I think Grizzled Young Vets will get their due because they didn't get it last year.
I see that.
I think,
by the way, so I'm like,
I thought the new kids on the block will probably just get it. They want to push them. Who knows?
that would be nice too. And then we have Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus either Candice LeRae and Indy or Shotzi and Ember. We all think it's going to be Ember and Shotzi versus Kai and Gonzalez, right?
Yeah.
If it's not Ember it's not Ember Moon and Shotzi, then it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins, Ember and Shotzi or Kai and Gonzalez?
I want Kai and Gonzalez to win.
Kai and Gonzalez got to win.
Same.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we
I
have
was rooting for Casey and Kaden, though. They did really good in this tournament. I just want to throw that out there.
They did do very well in this tournament. And then our main event for the NXT Championship is Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor. As much of a huge Pete Dunne fan as I am, and I would love to see him hold that title, I think the cat is going to win here.
The cat.
Yes, when the cat is away, the mice will play, and I will play my flute to make the mice go away.
Was that his promo?
That is Finn Balor's succotash promo. He would never live it down. He'd never live it down. It's crazy.
Oh man, I'm just gonna go with Finn because he's Finn. Finn to Mania with the belt.
Go with Finn because that's all they have. They go with Finn because that's all they have. And Pete Dunne, you need to go to SmackDown like yesterday.
And I'm a huge Pete Dunne fan too. Like it's nothing against Pete Dunne. I've been a Pete Dunne fan before he even showed up in WWE. But all three of them, the whole crew, I was with them. But yeah, Finn.
All right, I think that's it for us. You guys got anything to plug real quick? We got our socials hanging somewhere.
Yeah, just check out the TWC show every week. Spotify, Apple Podcast, subscribe. You never know who's going to show up. Sometimes it's Devin. Sometimes it's these guys. Sometimes it's Sock Monkey Mike and Daniel. Just tune in. We talk about wrestling and whatnot. And I kind of shoot on whatever I feel like shooting on. Our articles are 1:37 p.m. Check that out. And you guys know where to follow me on Twitter, TWC Worldwide, Wrestling Classic on Instagram. And make sure you guys follow THS.Wrestling on Instagram as well. Because the stuff I don't post on my page, I'm posting on there. And I'm trying to figure out how to make it different, but follow all those things, do all those things, and there's more to come. I think that's about it. Just keep doing the thing.
All right. I am recording a brand new podcast in about an hour. It's called All Night with the Living Geeks. We're going to talk about paranormal shiz, and it's going to be fun. So we'll be on the lookout for that, and Tornado Tag Radio as well.
Hey.
Yeah.
Check out the WandaVision after show that I'm about to start starting next week because, guys, I got theories, I got questions, and gladly I'm be blessed enough to talk to some of the actors from WandaVision. So it's going to be fun and it's going to be great. And if you're like me, staying up at midnight on Thursday to Friday, watching it and then watching it over and over and over again and watching everybody else's theories, then join me and join me and my co-hosts, and we're gonna have fun. So just follow me, Stay Fly Life on Instagram, and I keep you up to date.
There you go. All right, so you can follow us Facebook.com/THS Wrestling News, YouTube.com/that#show TV, Instagram.com/THS.Wrestling, and Twitch.tv/that#show. But most importantly, guys, that#show.com for everything trending in geek pop culture, and we'll see you guys next week.
For the boss, the blueprint, the standard, the GOAT, the queen of the sale, the draw, the DDT, and Boba Fett Mandalorian, Sasha Banks.